Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. On today's show, Kyle Bauer visits with Kelly Payne, manager at Oklahoma National Stockyards, who will start by talking about the history of the operation. Then enjoy this week's Kansas soybean update. Next, Kyle and Kelly continue their conversation about the Oklahoma National Stockyards. Then it's this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update, and we'll end with Plain Talk with Kyle and Dwayne. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first today, Kyle Bauer visits with Kelly Payne to talk about the history of the Oklahoma National Stockyards.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I get the opportunity to visit with Kelly Payne. She is the general manager of the Oklahoma National Stockyards. Kelly, the history of the stockyards is long and just tremendously famous. Can you kind of reel that off for us?
Absolutely. The Oklahoma National Stockyards is in its 109th year, which is really incredible considering we're such a young state here in Oklahoma, founded in 1907, and the stockyards were actually founded in 1910, just shortly after statehood. And what had happened was our city fathers looked around at industry. We were a growing city, but we didn't really have any major industry. So they looked north to the packing houses and sent letters to a lot of the major packers up north at St. Louis and Chicago, Omaha, and requested that they come down here and take a look and see what we had to offer. And when they got down here, which was quite a trivial deal to get here at that time, they really liked what they saw. So the packing industry was literally born overnight here in Oklahoma City. We are the last terminal of the original terminal markets that's still left, and we are a very strong and viable market nationally. If in all of the lower 48 states, if we have not received cattle to sell here from your state, you probably have cattle from us that were bought here and shipped to your state for some reason.
Are all of your cattle sold auction?
They are now. In 1961, we went to live auction. Prior to that, everything was done private treaty. The buyers would buy, would draw numbers and buy in lots. So if you were the first one, you had an opportunity to buy the lots of cattle, but if you chose not to purchase them, it went to the next person. And it worked very, very well for a number of years. Cattle were brought in on rail here from the very start, and then on cattle drives. And of course now, fast forward where everything's moved by cattle pots.
So what day is your sale?
Our sales are on Monday and Tuesday. They start at 8 a.m. and run until they're finished. Monday we sell, it's drafts with the smallest draft number being 3 head in the lot, and that's for efficiency. And Tuesday would be singles followed by cows and bulls. We used to do 4-day sales, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And once the packing houses started leaving and different things, and the industry just naturally just changed, we've just shortened it down to a 2-day sale week.
So you have a commission house here. Do you have order buyers that have offices? What is different about a stockyards than a sale barn?
This stockyards is just, like you said earlier, an incredible history. One of the things that has always been the same with us from day one is the commission firms. And we're the last, I believe, the last stockyards in the nation that still operates that way. It's like we have 9, and it's like having 9 sale barns under one roof. All of them are officed in the Exchange building, and we also have most of our order buyers have offices here. Now they may go and buy at other barns, but they will office here.
Now the location of the stockyards is right in the heart of Oklahoma City.
Yes, we feel like that's really been part of the secret to our success. It's easy. We have an interstate. I-40 is just to the north of us with a big exit sign saying Stockyards. And then we have I-44, and then I-35 is just off to the east, just a few miles. So we're in the heart of Oklahoma City. We're just 3 hours from the major feed yards in Texas, and just a few hours from Dodge City and the yards in Kansas. It's just a fantastic space for us to be, and it's the history here. I think that brings a lot of people back. Sometimes the market's really challenging, but we all like to have a place that we call home.
We're visiting with Kelly Payne. She's the general manager of the Oklahoma National Stockyards. This is Kyle Bauer reporting.
Thanks, Kyle. Folks, come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Jen Galloway, Director of Competitions with the Kansas State Fair, joins us. And Jen, as the date gets closer to this year's Kansas State Fair, we're also coming up on deadlines to submit entries. And that includes the Kansas Soybean Commission sponsored Soybean Plant Show at this year's fair.
Yes, the deadline for entry in that division is August 15th. And these can be done either online at the kansasstatefair.com website or by a paper entry. And if an exhibitor needs any help entering, they just need to call the competitions department here at the Kansas State Fair.
For the producers who would like to enter or are interested in entering the contest by that August 15th deadline, what do the producers need to provide for the contest?
They need to bring in up to 3 entries. And if they have 3, they each have to be from a different variety. And in these entries, they require 5 plants per entry. They suggest to dig up at least 8 to 10 plants when you're doing it so you have a variety to choose from. And they'll want to wash off the roots of the plants, and they will want to make sure that they're in good condition. Once the plants are dried, they're going to loosely tie them together at the base of the plant, at the root system, and then layer them in newspaper to bring to the fair.
When it is judged, what will the judges be looking for?
Mostly they're looking for a more mature plant that's taller with most pods and definitely free from insect damage and disease, no off color in the leaves, and the plants are uniform, pod size and fill.
When will the judging take place for the Soybean Plant Show?
They do the judging the first day of the fair, which is Friday, September 6th, and that way they have the results posted for people that are coming through to look at the exhibits, and they can see who got first, second, third, and so on.
And this has been a growing competition that the Kansas Soybean Commission sponsors.
Yes, and we're able to offer some pretty good premiums. We have first place at $30, second place at $25, third at $20, and fourth at $15, and fifth at $10. And then the champion soybean plant in each division will receive $100.
If people are interested in entering, you have to do that by August 15th. They can go to the Kansas State Fair website?
Correct. They can get more information from there, and then if they have any further questions, they can contact us here at the Kansas State Fair in the competitions department.
And that is at kansasstatefair.com. Jen, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is Jen Galloway, Director of Competitions with the Kansas State Fair, who joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Thanks for tuning in this morning to Farm Factor. Stay with us after the break for more with Kyle Bauer and Kelly Payne.
What if sustainability were synonymous with U.S. soy? If energy efficiency, water quality, and soil health help define U.S. soy's value, that future is here, the time is now. To meet end-user demands, the Soybean Checkoff is committing to sustainability that's achievable, worthwhile, and enduring. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Imagine turning soybean oil, used cooking oils, and waste animal fats into fuel so amazing it drives U.S. jobs and our economy forward. Learn more about biodiesel at americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Kim Mannering with Hardy Insurance. Today we will talk about employee safety and work comp coverage. On your farm, do you ask your friends to come help? Are they considered employees or neighbors helping neighbors? Did you know that you can be held responsible just as if it's a work comp accident? Give me a call. We can discuss. 316-945-6733.
This segment brought to you by SureCrop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now we learn more about the Oklahoma National Stockyards with Kyle Bauer and manager Kelly Payne.
We continue to visit with Kelly Payne because KFRM is giving their reward, presenting their reward today to the Oklahoma National Stockyards team. And Kelly, I'll just let you tell us how it came down that you guys were able to identify and capture cattle thieves here at the stockyards.
You know, it was just an incredible day. It was around the 1st of December, and one of our gentlemen that works at the Bill Inn called me, and he says, we've seen a truck and trailer that just doesn't seem right, and it's unusual. It's on a Tuesday, and it's unusual for us to get any more than just 1 or 2 head on a trailer that day, and there were 17 head of cattle. And I no more got off the phone with him, and the commission man that they were billed into, he met me in the hallway, and he said, we've got a real problem here. My customers' cattle from Kansas are in my pens, and I know his brand. So we acted very, very quickly. I contacted Chief Flowers. He contacted Special Agent Cornett. That was at 9:05 on a Tuesday morning, and by 10 o'clock, we had the cattle through the ring. Nobody was any of the wiser. We didn't tip anybody off, and by the time I got tickets back over to this building, they literally had the couple in handcuffs. And it was everybody's effort. The ladies in the office, our supervisor had identified the truck and trailer sitting at a restaurant just a block or 2 away. The buyers, we literally acted with IQs in the ring to, just don't bid on these cattle because they're great cattle. Mm-hmm. Of course, that's what they were wanting to do, was get a nice paycheck for the day. So, but our rule states in Oklahoma that the thief has to actually touch the check. And so that adds another level of danger because you don't know if those folks are armed or not. So, and with it being a couple, there was just so many things that just looked a little bit odd that day. But we felt like when you contacted us that because it did take everybody here to make it happen, that we should celebrate together as a team.
Well, we're really glad to pay our $5,000 reward to anything that leads to the arrest and conviction of cattle thieves in Kansas, Oklahoma, or Nebraska, because the cattle industry grazes so many remote locations that we depend so much on the honesty of people in the area, because cattle will wander and we can't watch them day and night. So it's such a big deal that we can all count on the honesty of people. Well, I understand these thieves were also responsible for other thefts in the area as well.
Yes, what we've been told with the couple, he was a lineman, I believe, and he was out alone a lot and could really, like as you said, scout the rural areas, see where cattle were moving, who had close pens, the things that we kind of caution our producers about doing. And when you're up in southeastern Kansas, either northeastern Oklahoma, it is very remote up there. So he had an opportunity to see these things, and of course she played right along. You always hope that if there is a thief that they're a dumb thief, but which we kind of got lucky with that. But it's something that we instill in our crew here about the seriousness of it. Whether we're not a brand state here in Oklahoma, so it did help that those cattle were branded that stuck out like a sore thumb, and just the sheer luck of having a commissionman that was alert and paying attention. It really adds to what we have to offer here in Oklahoma National Stockyards.
This is Kyle Bauer with Kelly Payne. She's the general manager of the Oklahoma National Stockyards. This is Kyle Bauer reporting.
Thanks, Kyle. Come back after the break for this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Earlier in my life, I rode bucking horses and rodeos, and my shoulders took such a beating, and that was probably the reason for having several previous surgeries on both shoulders. About a year ago, I decided that I didn't want to have another surgery, and so I contacted Kansas Regenerative Medicine, took their treatment process. It was relatively pain-free. Now, after 8 months, my shoulders have healed to the point where I think I'm probably 90 to 95% of normal. It takes a couple of months to start to see results and feel real progress. That continued to increase gradually until now at approximately 8 months. And I'm extremely pleased. I've got full range of motion. I can lift weights, I can throw, I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do without a lot of pain previously. So I'm tickled to death with the results, and I'd recommend this process to anyone.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Farm Bureau Update.
We had some questions about a topic that was changed or updated, I guess, during the last legislative session. So tell us what the topic is and give us some of the background, if you wouldn't mind.
Absolutely. Thanks, Megan. Like she said, we've had a lot of questions, and we've been sharing information and updated people throughout the session about a bill that came up relating to ATV and UTV use on roadways. And current statute didn't allow for this up until this last session. So a bill came up, and in its final form, it was Senate Bill 63, and it was passed and signed for the governor. And what it did is it allows for the use of ATVs and UTVs on state and federal highways, but there's a couple specific restrictions. First and foremost, it has to be for agricultural purposes, and it allows for two things. These producers, these operators, to use their ATV or their UTV first to cross a state or federal highway, and also it specifically states that an ATV or UTV can be used on to go down a state or federal highway, but there are a couple very specific restrictions with that. The first of those restrictions is that the operator of this ATV or UTV must be a licensed driver, and they must be operating under the restrictions of their license. Secondly, that state or federal highway must have a posted speed limit of 65 miles per hour or less. And then third, this ATV or UTV must be operated as far to the right of the roadway as practicable, unless the operator is making or is preparing to make a left turn. So hopefully that provides just a little bit of clarification on what this bill, now current statute, actually allows for. It doesn't just open it up for any use of ATV or UTVs on the highways. It is very specific to agricultural purposes, and then those operators must be operating within those restrictions.
Stay with us. We'll be back after the break with Plain Talk.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at KFRM.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Kim Mannering with Hardy Insurance. Today we will talk about umbrella coverage. Did you know that if your cattle get out, you could be held liable for that? Call me. Let's have a discussion. 316-945-6733.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
SureCrop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business has started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, and we're glad to answer it and work with you.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Dwayne are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk, with the guy that knows when you plant an herb garden, you should allow 2 square feet per herb. Dwayne Herb Taves.
What? 2 square feet?
2 square feet per herb.
Some
Unless
of those
you plant
are like
mint, then you should allow 3 acres.
Have you one mint plant?
Mint?
No.
Oh my goodness! It's just like the most invasive species ever.
We had some that somebody must have planted at some time in a farmstead that we lived at, and we never cultivated it and or used it, but we sprayed it with 2,4-D quite often.
To kill it back.
Yeah, it was nasty.
We planted one little plant last year in our herb garden, and this spring it was taking over the oregano and the asparagus and everything else. So I was out there, believe it or not, I was weeding by hand, and it was really interesting roots. It was rhizomes just under the surface, a lot like you would see peanuts grow.
Okay.
And so when you would pull up one out here 2 feet away,
And
I mean,
you'd
it would
string
pull,
along.
it'd pull up a root a foot back to the center. It was
I'll be
really
darned.
quite fascinating. And so we got it back kind of under control about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's she doing now?
No, now she's taken over the whole place. So if anybody would like mint in their iced tea, just come by. We would be glad to. Oh, I won't even charge you, Dwayne.
Really?
No, and when you're
Free
done, you'll
mint.
have a very fresh breath.
Fresh minty.
It did work out good for the Derby party, though. We had plenty of mint for the mint juleps.
I noticed you were pretty liberal with the mint sprigs.
Oh, yeah. I had a whole bucket full I was trying to get rid of.
Speaking of food, the strawberry, the only agricultural plant with seeds on the outside. Fact or fiction?
Well, I'm trying to think of another one. No, because you see, hamburger buns have seeds on the outside. And that's the only fruit that I get is hamburger buns because they have the seeds on the outside. No, let me see. You know what? I can't think of another one. I'm going to go true.
That's what it says.
Yeah.
The old strawberry.
Except for the hamburger bun.
Seeds on the outside.
Sesame seeds. You know, they're starting to raise quite a bit of sesame in our part of the world.
Yes, they are.
Have you seen it growing?
I have not.
I have not either. I don't know.
Although,
when I drive by a canola field, I know what that looks like.
Right.
But I do not know what a sesame field looks like. You see, they plant that normally in the fall or the spring. They plant it in the spring.
Spring planted, harvested in the fall.
Okay. And it's a cereal grain, right? I mean, you plant
predominantly.
You
drill it.
Sow it. Or, I mean, don't plant it in rows. And so I don't know. Haven't seen it growing, but there must be a good market for it.
Well, there's all those sesame seed buns out there that got to get seeds from somewhere.
So you plant the buns along with the sesame,
and
then
miraculously,
out come those sesame seed buns.
Yeah.
Wow, that's just amazing.
Who would have thought that?
Who would have thought?
Work like that?
Absolutely. So if you go to the grocery store, do you buy sesame seed buns or do you buy ordinary buns?
I buy ordinary buns
because you prefer the taste, or they're just cheaper.
Cheaper. Yeah, and I don't feel like they add that much to the experience.
I don't either. I think they're almost there as much as anything for decoration. I mean, if I was going to charge you $5 for a hamburger, I got to have something more than an ordinary bun.
Yeah.
If I'm going to charge you $2, then I can have an ordinary bun.
Plain Jane bun you get.
I don't know. I mean, I assume there's probably a taste to them, but, let's think about this. How much have you and I over our lives eaten sesame seed buns and neither of us can tell what sesame tastes like?
Yeah, I'm thinking when you eat a hamburger, it's all about the burger and all the other good stuff you put on top of it.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.